typical icon of Christ is a Greek or Russian Christ, with Greek up here, Slavonic, whatever it might be, but a Christ that has already gone through the translation into another culture in the Mediterranean, who's been removed from his Semitic roots. The original Christ may have known a little Greek, simply because from the time of Alexander the Great on, Greek was spread all through the Middle East. But he spoke Aramaic. This icon was painted for the Eastern churches, like the Lebanese and Syriacs, who use Aramaic. It says Jesus Christ in Aramaic and Christ of the desert. In the background is a design from a rug woven from that area today, the floral rugs of the tribes that are Islamic mostly. And the letters that generally go in Christ's halo, Ho-On, which are tied to philosophy, describing Christ as being itself, are left out because this Semitic form of Christianity that still exists in the churches of the East is not as much a philosophical church as the Greek church or the Roman church. In other words, this is an attempt to take the Christ of icons and move him back a step or two from that indigenization in the 4th and 5th centuries. He's not wearing the garments of a Greek philosopher. He's simply wearing white homespun, the way a nomad might in the desert to protect himself from the wind or the sun. The person of Christ obviously is incredibly important in Christian theology, and councils, the first 7 councils, were convened to define who Christ is, the balance between his divinity and his humanity. Is he God? Is he man? How do these fit together? Does he have 2 wills, 1 will, 2 natures, 1 nature? All of these are philosophical questions. And as these councils begin to define him more and more as true man and true God, the icons show him more and more as God. And for that language, which is in every instance, people may think that they're not being cultural when they say something or paint something, but our cultures determine 99% of what we are and how we speak, and how we paint, and how we eat, and everything else. The Christ of the icons begins to look more and more like Jupiter, or like the Roman emperor. A Christ who was basically a Jew in Palestine begins to look more and more with a thick neck and long, thick hair like Jupiter. These are things that say he's God, cultural things. And he begins to get a fiercer expression on his face until you wonder, where is the Jesus who says, "Learn from me, for I am meek and gentle of heart"? These things that I'm talking about, the emphasis on the divinity, are a high Christology, a Christology that emphasizes the divinity. A low Christology would emphasize the humanity more. These 2 Christologies have to be brought together. A high Christology is something you can learn from a book and that perhaps would never touch your life. You learn it well, you can teach it, you can still be an atheist. But a low Christology is a Christology you learn through your life experience, the way Jesus taught in his love for the poor, in telling us we would find him in the poor, that we should care for the poor, we should care for one another, that in doing this we would find him, that in finding such a Christ at the bottom, we have truly found the Christ, and then we can begin to do our high Christology and recognize the divinity as well. This icon has all of that in it.